Hi, Ed 306 classmates. My name's Holly, and I am doing the Next Generation Science Standards 2-LS 4-1. So it's for second graders looking at life science, biology, evolution, unity, and diversity. For this standard, it's asking the students to make observations of plants and animals to compare the diversity of life in different habitats. So, what do we need to know about habitats? Well, our Earth is made up of many different large areas called biomes. And the five major biomes are the aquatic, the desert, the forest, the grassland, and the tundra. And these all are kind of determined based on the temperature, the soil, and the amount of sunlight where they're located. So you get these big areas called biomes, and then you come down to a smaller community area which is more like a ecosystem. So if you think large, like the continents, but really continents have more than one biome on them. And then you think of your community, you think of an ecosystem, and it's how your living and non-living items really interact in the environment. Within a biome, there's definitely different types of ecosystems for like the forest biome. There's the tropical forest, tropical rainforest, the temperate forests, or the Russian taiga forest. But what we're looking at for the standard is the habitat. So, what is that smaller place, kind of like your home for the animal, that have for animal or plants that has the shelter, the water, the food, and the space. So let's not forget plants here. Certain plants grow better in certain areas. So our students are going to be making observations of those plants and animals to look at the different habitats because we have a very diverse world around us and there's always a variety of habitats in different ecosystems. So kind of some of the key terms we need to know. We're going to observe, we're going to use our senses to acquire that information. Adaptations. Animals have changed and adapted to better suit themselves with their habitat or their ecosystem or biome. So our desert foxes, they have their bigger ears to hear and to help with the heat. And our polar bears up north, they're keeping that warm fur and those layers of fat to help them survive the cold temperatures, which we know we're all going through right now. And diversity, we just need our students to see that there is a wide range of different things out there in the natural world around them. So when they go out there, they observe and collect the data, they're going to bring it in, and then they can compare. They can see what's different, what's our similarities between these different habitats that they are investigating and inquiring in. Some of the common errors that you might get with this standard is we're not going to ask our students, hey, what's this bird? It's an eagle. Hey, do you know the name of the red fox or brown bear or deer or poison ivy? That's not the standard. It's definitely important that students know poison ivy if you're going out for safety in the field and you're going to observe stuff. Leaves a 3, let it be. But other than that, that's not the basis of the standard. It's not to identify different plants and animals. It's really talking about the habitat and what makes it for them. The food. Is a fawn seeking, hiding for protection in the grasslands? Is it moving from the forest out into the field to get food? How does it all interact together? Is the bear going to the river to catch fish and then back into the forest to forage for berries? So, and also remember when you're out there, everything the students are documenting, not all plants and animals really belong there. We also have invasive plants and animals that come into our ecosystems that are really not a natural part of it. So for our students, we want them to observe, to hear, to see, to draw inferences about what's happening within the ecosystem, and to realize that the weather and the temperature and the climate has a great deal on how the ecosystem interacts. So where can we take our students to observe these habitats? Really, we just need to look outside our classroom windows. we can go around our school, we can find what they call microhabitats, where if you were to look under some rocks or look under bushes, you might find, colonies of ants or maybe some spider webs or different, say you had a flower bed around that had milkweed. You could see seeds from the milkweed. You might find caterpillars. You might find butterflies, all the stuff around there, the food for them, and diversity. Also, our local parks, you could have students go home and observe their backyards. You could hike through nature preserves. For our school, we have a habitat right beside it, which has natural prairie grass, has forest, has a creek running through it, and it also has a pond with a bunch of cattails. So they get to see a bunch of different the diversity in the ecosystem in different habitats, the birds' habitats versus the deer habitat. So, and if you don't have that, that's okay because there is a great resource of online webcams out there. And in my document, you will find the online webcams. I've listed out a bunch of them for you to look through. And you can use a lot of those too for like attention getters. There's some beautiful different aquariums or jellyfish or just watching the bears eat fish. But some teachers have used these like I would suggest using the webcams to set up around my classroom to make a museum of different habitats that they can go visit. So students can pick and choose which habitat they want to go and investigate. You could also do it with museums. If you didn't have the technology for webcams, you could put up different pictures from magazines of webs and of plants and animals. You could have the students get little binoculars, make binoculars out of paper towel rolls and go around and investigate. Or, even dig through a bucket of dirt. See if you find some worms, some different plants, seeds. Yeah, it's very quite possible. So my activity for my students would be taking them out to our habitat. I can give them a piece of paper. We can fold it into 4 sections and they can go out and they can make observations and collect that data of the plants, the animals, the food source. Or they can do tally marks too that we could use in math later to mark how many living things did you see? How many different types of plants did you see? Did you see grass? Did you see shrubs? Did you see evergreens? Did you see deciduous trees? Did you see trees with flowers? Did you see fruit trees? Did you see cattails? And they can go through and mark and see, oh, wow, there's just so much diversity out there. Also, I made up a compare and contrast matrix, which is in my document that you can use as a source. But they can also compare one habitat versus the second or the third. And they can use this matrix to decide, hey, maybe some of these have the same plants, but maybe some of the animals are different. Again, here's a link for the webcams. So if you weren't able to go out to the habitat, especially in the cold weather that we have right now, I suggest doing this project or this unit I would schedule for nice at the beginning of the school year in the fall or out in the spring where you have good weather to go out and really explore and investigate so students can find animal tracks. I went out in the snow, I found some, but it's cold. So I would use your webcams, and here's a picture of a webcam right here. You can see up in Alaska, they've got the wolf and the bird out in the river where the fish are. And if you're on this webcam, you can also see bear. But the great thing about this website is it gives you webcams from all around the world. So if you're looking at Africa or if you're looking at the coral reefs, it gives you a great diversity of habitats that your students can observe firsthand. And I think that's really what we kind of want them to do here. So they can say, what makes this so interesting and where do they find their food and how are they surviving out in these diverse habitats? So I hope you're all having a great time learning about science. See you soon. Bye.